so much for coming to our Broadleaf Theater. I appreciate you taking the time to come by today and maybe learn a little bit and see some really cool animals that we have. My name is Cam, and I am an animal keeper here at Woodland Park Zoo. I've been here for, I don't know, it's getting close to a year, and I'm very excited to be able to show my friends off to you. So, you all got to meet, or most of you got to see Granny before. She was a vulturine guinea fowl. They're super cool birds that are found over in Africa. And how many of you seen The Lion King? Yeah, a lot of you have. So, the very beginning of the movie, when all of the animals are going over the savannah, and they're all getting excited to see Simba for the first time, you can actually see some guinea fowl running around, which is kind of cool. But my friend right here, this is Amarillo, and he is an armadillo. You are exactly right. So, Amarillo, the armadillo, is a 9-banded armadillo. Can anyone guess why we might call an armadillo 9-banded? Because it rolls up in a ball? Yeah. Yeah. Any other guesses? It's 9. That's another good guess. So, we call them 9-banded armadillos. I'll get out of the way so you can get a good view. Because she, or he, has 9 bands across his back. So I've hidden some bugs in here. We are going to see how well armadillos do sniffing around. So he's over looking around, trying to see if he can smell these bugs, because they have really bad eyesight. Who here wears glasses or contacts? Yeah, me too. What happens when you wake up in the morning? Can you see anything? Yeah, not really. You can't really see too much. Same thing for this guy, except he doesn't have glasses or contacts. So instead, he uses his sniffer to be able to find out what's going around. And it looks like he may have found some bugs over there. So he's using his big, strong claws. He's ripping open that bag, and he is going to eat whatever he finds in there, which today are delicious bugs. Out in the wild, these armadillos like to roam around. They can be found in the jungle. They can be found in the desert. They can be found all over the place. Does anyone know where these animals live? You can yell it out. I like yelling. America. Where else? North America. Anywhere else?
Everywhere.
Africa. The desert. So they are found in America, North America. They're found in Central America, and they're found down in South America. So they are a new world animal. They're found just on these continents, which is kind of cool. They're a very special animal, and they're all over the place. If you've ever been to the southern part of the U.S., you've probably seen that. Oh, there's a moth that's coming to visit us. I really hope that moth decides to leave before Amarillo finds the moth. But they're really, really good at taking care of themselves, and they're not endangered, nothing like that, because of that strong casing they have on them. It keeps them safe from most predators. In fact, one of their biggest predators, one of the biggest things they have to worry about is actually people. People like to eat them for their meat because they're really strong, they're really tough. They got lots of meat in there. You can see he's saying hi to Tony the tiger right now. Just over there exploring everything. But yeah, down in Central South America, even in the U.S., people will eat armadillo, which is pretty cool for them, for the people, not necessarily for the animals, but that's okay. Everybody needs to eat. Now, we train our animals a lot of different behaviors. One thing that I want to show off, it's called a touch behavior. So this is something that we do for our animals to make sure that they are doing okay, just as a way to be able to touch their body, make sure there's nothing wrong, kind of check them over. Oh, you're going to go exploring over here. How about we go back this way, huh? Good job. Oh. All right, we will actually show off a crate behavior first. That's a pretty cool behavior. All right, great. Oh, so close. Good job. Yeah. And I will tweak that door just a little bit. So Amarillo is a boy, and he's about 5 years old. Were you guys running around that much when you were 5? Were you digging in the dirt? Were you eating bugs? I bet all of you were eating bugs at 5. And I bet your parents were, because I certainly was. But we do behaviors like touch, and crate and all these things just to make sure that they are nice and okay and safe. So I'll say, touch, and I'll touch, and then I give a treat for that. Touch. And what that lets me do is I can get a look at Amarillo's nails to see if we need to do any nail trimming. I get a look at his ears to make sure that his ears are okay. I can see if he's eating well, if he's acting funny, because we don't want them to be hurt or feel sick or anything like that. So every day we want to check our animals and make sure that they're doing just okay. And you can see I leave the crate open for him in case he wants to go check out that crate and spread some more bugs around. So this is about the time of year that everyone's getting done with school, right? Everyone's looking forward to the summer. Yeah, I know it's been a weird year and a half, but I'm still looking forward to summer too. Going to school and getting up early every day can be tiring. Sometimes you just don't want to get out of bed. Amarillo's the exact same way. He will sleep for hours and hours and hours. When we get in the morning, we check on him 8 o'clock or so in the morning. He is wrapped up in his blankets that he's dragged from all over his enclosure, his little home, and he's shoved them all inside of his den, and he wraps himself up in it. And it is hilarious. He just doesn't go anywhere without his blankets. I'll give you some more treats. He was sleeping, so I had to politely ask him to wake up. I used a little squeaker to let him know I was there, and then he decided to get up and go check out his crate. So I brought one of his blankets. These animals, like I was saying earlier, they use their smelling a lot, so that's a great way for him to be able to feel comfortable. You know, this is a newer area. It's kind of a wide open area. Just want to make sure that he felt safe here, so he's got this nice blankie. He's got his crate he can go into. He's doing a lot of exploring and pushing around. But I put a few more bugs in his toys, and he might not have discovered them yet. But we'll see if he wants to go find them. Now, does anyone have any questions? I will do hand raising for this part, though. Yes? Yeah, what does he eat in his habitat? So he eats the things here, same stuff he would eat out in the wild, which is lots and lots of bugs, and sometimes things like fruits or vegetables and stuff like that. But here he mostly gets bugs, either in bug form, or we have a very special kind of a pellet, kind of like a dog food that you would feed your dog, but we feed it to but it's made just for armadillos, and it's made of a bunch of crushed up bugs to make sure he stays nice and healthy. Yeah, what's your question, miss? Yeah, what kind of toys does he like to play with? So I brought some of his favorites in here. He's got little balls and stuff he can roll around. He really likes things he can rip open, so that's why I brought those paper bags. He knows there's usually food in there, not always. He likes to mix it up, and he'll just rip things wide open. What are you doing, huh? Hey, you want to come back over here? No one can see you when you're behind me. I've got big feet. All right, what's your question? Yeah. Yeah, how old was he when we got him? He was born in captivity. So, we got him when he was a little bit older. He was from another facility, but he came here when he was real young. And he's been doing shows and stuff pretty much his whole life. So, he's comfortable around people. He likes to explore and kind of show off the cool things that armadillos do. In fact, huh? The Greatest Showman, yeah. He's been doing his whole life, and he really likes to show off. Yeah, he's rearranging his home right now. What's your question, buddy? Are they endangered? So they are not, but they do have a lot of things to watch out for. You think an animal with a big, strong shell like that, big, strong, carapace is what it's called, casing, we keep them safe from everything, but big cats, things like jaguars or mountain lions can go after them. Things like big raptors, so like eagles or really, really big hawks will eat them. But wolves sometimes will do it, bears or coyotes. They see something like this, that's a nice little meal. Just takes a lot more work. But one thing they really have to watch out for, though, are cars, which is kind of, funny to think about. If they have to cross the road and a car's coming by, that's dangerous. It can hurt them. But the other thing that can be a problem for them is the way they protect themselves. Since they can't curl up into a ball, they actually will jump up to 4 feet high. So if a car's coming at them and they jump up, that puts them in the wrong spot. So that's why cars are especially dangerous for them. But if you're a cat or a bear or a bird and you go to grab one of these guys and they jump up and whack you, you're probably like, I want nothing to do with this. No thank you, goodbye. Goodbye, sir. Yeah. Another thing that I really want you guys to know about them. You see a body like that, do you think that is a swimming body? No, I like to go out in the summertime, float down a river. When I'm floating down a river, though, I could be hanging out with my friend Amarillo here because they are very good at floating. They can actually inflate with air a little bit. They go on the water, and they just float across rivers, across lakes, wherever they want to. And Amarillo here really, really loves to crawl into his water bowl, roll around upside down, and splash water everywhere. Just loves to get super wet and wild. Kind of a silly little guy. Oh my goodness. Yeah, do we have any other questions? Yeah. If I took off the shell, well, that would be like if I took off your skin. So it wouldn't be very nice looking because that shell is what protects him. So it's basically his skin. It's kind of like your fingernails. It keeps him nice and safe and nice and protected. So it's not like something separate that can just come right off, which is kind of interesting. They have that on their whole lives. The other thing you can kind of see is he's got little hairs that are by his face and kind of by his tummy and his underside. He'll use those hairs to kind of feel around a bit. They're very sensitive, so he knows if he's touching stuff. So when he's trying to find bugs or find other things, and remember, his eyesight's not very good. He's trying to find those bugs. Sometimes he'll brush up against his hair, and then he knows where they are, and he could eat them. Is he nocturnal? Why do you think he might be nocturnal?
Because he can't see very good in the day.
Yeah, because he can't see very good in the day. Does anyone else have any guesses from things I said earlier why he might be nocturnal? What was your guess, bud?
My guess was, I was thinking that
Yeah, he could eat spiders if he wanted to. So, he doesn't like to get up in the morning. He likes to sleep in like you guys do, I bet. So, that is another reason that you can tell he's nocturnal. He likes to be active at night when he's got less predators to go after him, and he can just be sniffing around in the ground, put his nose in the dirt, and try and find those bugs. And you wouldn't think it, with him being a good swimmer, but he can also hold his breath for up to 6 minutes. How long can you guys hold your breath?
5 seconds.
5, yeah, I know. Can't hold it very long. But that helps him when he's swimming, and it also helps him a lot when he's sticking his nose in the dirt trying to find bugs. Because you can't breathe dirt in, that wouldn't be any fun. Right, you wanna go check that out? Yeah, and they love the dirt. They're always rolling around the dirt eating bugs. What's your question, buddy? 10 seconds. Wow, that's twice as long as me. Good job. 20 seconds. Wow, we're getting some very good breath holders. What's your question, miss? Do they climb trees? They aren't very good at climbing trees. They're very strong and bulky, but their legs are small, and they've got those big claws, but those claws aren't made for climbing into bark, but digging in the dirt. So that's a very good question to ask. And they use those claws to really dig into that dirt. They make big dens, really deep dens. They can build dens that are up to 25 feet long, which is a super long ways. Yeah, they make those dens. They love to burrow into the ground. Yeah, they do everything with scent. So they mark their territory all over the place. Whether it's through rubbing or whether it's through going to the bathroom, they mark everything. That's why these blankets make him feel safe, because it smells like him, it smells like home. He knows that this is a safe place because that's got a safe blanket on it, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, back there. Well, what? Do they hibernate when it's cold? So that actually brings up another really good point. These animals do not hibernate. In fact, they're not very good at thermoregulation, which all that means is whether they can keep themselves warm or keep themselves cold. Their bodies aren't really designed well for that. They can't sweat well. They can't really do any of that very good. So they stay in places where it's warm, and they can stay nice and warm. Oh my goodness, what are you doing? It's not a renovation now, it's a demolish. Oy vey. There we go. Let's get this all set back up for you.
Are they cold-blooded or hot-blooded?
They are mammals. Do you know something special about mammals? All mammals are warm-blooded. What's your question? Yeah, do girls look like boys? They do. They look very similar to each other. There's not a great way to tell them apart. There might be a little bit of a size difference, but it's not like peacocks where the males are bright and beautiful and the females are very dark. But the other cool thing about these animals, now that we're talking about males and females, is that they always have siblings. So when they are born 4 at a time. They always have 3 siblings, which is a way that they are able to spread all over the place, even though they have a lot of predators that like to eat them, even though they live only about 15 years or so. They're all over the place just because they always have siblings when they're born. Yeah.
Sister asked how many bands can they have?
How many bands can they have? Well, they call them a 9-banded armadillo, but it kind of depends on where they are in the world for how many bands they're going to have. So sometimes it's a little bit less, sometimes it's a little bit more, but their name is always a 9-banded armadillo. But there is an armadillo called the 3-banded armadillo, and they typically have 3 bands, and they're found in South America. They're the ones that can curl all the way up into the ball, and they usually just have 3. What's your question, buddy? Does he have a family? So here, we're kind of his family. After they grow up with their siblings, they become solitary, which means they like to just go out by themselves. And sometimes they'll find a girl or a boy, and then they leave after that. So we're his family, we hang out with him, and yeah, we just have the one. Yeah.
So since they're born 4 at a time, so they're practically quadruplets.
They are exactly quadruplets. You are totally right. It's pretty interesting. How are you doing over there? Just doing lots of exploring. You can see this is pretty typical of an armadillo. They're always trying to see if there's bugs around, or if there's dirt around, or if there's anything that they want to mess with. Gonna check out my shoes. Just likes to explore. Okay, well, are you settling down in there? Well, I might actually have him go back into his crate. He is moving around quite a bit. You can see just kind of looking at him. It's hard to tell if someone is excited or scared or anything like that. But he's starting to get a little uncomfortable. I think he wants to go back inside, so I'll let him go inside. I don't want him to feel like he has to stay out if he doesn't want to. But just give me 1 second, and then I can take some more questions. All right, bud. Amarillo. You want a treat? Come on. Good. There you go. I will take your question in just 1 second. All right, what's your question? Do tigers like to eat them? So, tigers aren't found in South America, so they don't run into each other very often. But there is an animal called a jaguar. A jaguar would love to eat them if they can find them. Do you know what a mountain lion is? Yeah? Mountain lions, if they can find them, they'll eat them. Do you guys know what a wolf is? Yeah, if a wolf finds them, they'll have to work really hard, but they still might be able to eat them. Yeah, did you have a question? Yeah, so they can't curl all the way up into a ball to protect themselves from predators. But that hard shell does keep them safe from a lot of them. But their tummies are very, very soft. They don't have this casing on their tummies. So if they get flipped over, then their tummy's exposed and a predator can go to town. And that's not very fun for them. But to keep themselves safe from predators, they either dig down into the dirt, go into their den, and you don't want to put your head into a hole where an armadillo is. That would not be a fun time. Exactly, and their claws are really big and strong. Yeah, exactly. If someone's in there, they sniff them because everything smells and they've got such a good nose. All right, well, it's about time for me to wrap up. I can take maybe a couple more questions. What is yours, miss? Do they hibernate in the night? They'll sleep during the day, and then they're active at night. So they don't hibernate like a bear, but during the nighttime, that's when they're moving around, and that's when they're finding their food. Do bats eat them? No, not really. They're way too big for a bat to eat them. All right. Yeah, how big or how old can they get? So he's about 5, and the typical lifespan is going to be about 15 to 20 years. Probably a little bit less out in the wild, just because you got these predators to deal with. And the last question, Miss, what do you want to know? They love to dig holes. They can dig holes as deep as this. They can dig holes deeper than this. They can dig really, really big holes. And their feet just love to dig and dig and dig. All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day here at Woodland Park Zoo. I appreciate all the questions. I'm glad you got to meet my friends. And I hope to see you again soon. Good. I'm glad. Bye.